everyone. This is the presentation of Group 5 for their research defense.
The title that we chose for our research is the ADNI's COVID-19 pandemic, depression, anxiety, stress, and academic performance of the students in the new normal of education in the Philippines. Track of our research, studies on mental health and academic performance have been conducted throughout the world. Thus, this study aims to assess the students' mental health amidst the new normal of education, employing 21 items: depression, anxiety, and stress scale, or DAS-21, concerning their academic performance. The study's findings show that almost more than half of the respondents suffered from moderate to extremely severe levels of depression, stress, and anxiety. Thus, there was no significant relationship between high negative mental health symptoms and academic performance. In conclusion, students that encounter extreme levels of adverse mental health can still maintain high academic achievement. However, the students' mental health should always be managed and helped to cope with their life problems, especially during this pandemic crisis. Introduction of our research is the series of rising mental health issues is a growing global epidemic globally, affecting around 1/3 of the world's population. Generally, mental well-being is the emotional and psychological well-being that influences how a person thinks, feels, and responds to life events. Adolescence, which begins at the age of 10 and ends, whereas the new mental health legislation in the Philippines, Republic Act 11036, was recently adopted on February 12, 2018. It is also troubling because the Philippines is also struggling with the law because of the lack of new knowledge and accessible research. There are only a few mental health studies in the Philippines, and most of them include university and college students as the main subject of the study, not high school students. This study aims to contribute research and measurable knowledge on the relationship between adolescent mental health and their academic performance.
Review of related literature. Mental health is most commonly associated when a person becomes fully aware of their abilities, can adapt to the normal stress and problems in their life, can work within oneself fulfillment and satisfaction efficiently, and can make the right contribution to society. It can be applied to an individual's ability to develop themselves harmoniously with or without other people. Furthermore, the concept of mental health defines from a more general point of view that is comprised of a positive and negative dimension. The positive psychological well-being affected mostly by elements of happiness, contentment, quality of life, and even health as a whole. Whereas negative concept indicates the opposite, as in mental health problems or mental health distress. Depression, anxiety, and stress are always correlated with mental health disorders, denoted and seen as real problems within the world. These conceptual factors adhere to individual development, especially with adolescents or developing teens. Erickson's theory on adolescent psychosocial development on the 7th stage of development theorized the depression on adolescents. The approach suggests that every adolescent went to the stage of an identity crisis, to which every adolescent tried to find the answer to the question, who am I? The failure of answering the question brings adverse effects to an adolescent's mental health and development. It makes one disvalue their self-worth and become unable to cope with daily life, which could lead to depression. On another note, Strongman's anxiety theories, where anxiety as a pain inflictor caused by unclear origins and phobias. The theories on anxiety suggest that it has no exact limit where or when it will stop. There are 5 categories in theories of anxiety. These are psychoanalytic, learning of behavioral, physical, phenomenological, and uncertainty. This proved that all of the categories were very similar. However, anxiety cannot be understood without the people's influence, and its most common problem is that it mostly comes from uncertainty. Moreover, anxiety was categorized in two ways: everyday anxiety and neurotic anxiety. Everyday anxiety regarded anxiety is normal fear from real events, while neurotic anxiety was suggested to come from more phobic and panic attack related origins. Stress is sometimes perceived as a mental pressure, however, it also has physical effect of the human body. The stage the body goes through when exposed to stress help people become more aware of these physical signs of stress when they occur. Hans Selye, a Vienna-born scientist, was the founder of the stress theory. He defined stress as the non-specific response of the body to any demand for change. Lazarus' theory on stress also explained that the general adaptation syndrome or GAS is the three-stage process that describes the physiological changes the body goes through when under stress. Depression and anxiety. According to recent studies, depression and anxiety are the most common types of mental disorders, and comorbidity is also prevalent with these two disorders, which means that depression and anxiety may be simultaneously present in one person. Many individuals with anxiety also have depression and vice versa. The most common mental disorder refer to two main diagnostic categories: depressive disorders and anxiety disorders. These disorders are highly prevalent in the world and impact the mood or feeling of affected person. The symptoms range in terms of their severity from mild to severe and last for months to years. These are diagnosable health conditions and are distinct from feelings of sadness, normal anxiety, stress, or fear that anyone can experience from time to time in their everyday lives. At a global level, it's been reported that over 300 million people are estimated to suffer from depression, while more than 250 million people are estimated to suffer from anxiety disorder. The number of individuals with common mental disorders such as depression and anxiety is rising on a global scale. More specifically in lower-income countries such as the Philippines because of the rapid growth of population, which result in more people living within the adolescent age, the age range when depression and anxiety mostly common occur. Although depression and anxiety both can and do affect people of all age, this risk of becoming depressed is mainly affected by poverty, unemployment, tragic life events, and physical illness, such as a cancer. Some factors also include the behavioral lifestyle present in early adolescence. Moreover, the pervasiveness of mental health disorders within the Philippines is gradually being measured and shown to increase within youth. Depressive disorders are mostly associated with great feelings of sadness, loss of passion or engagement with tasks and hobbies, feelings of regret, low self-esteem, disturbed sleep cycles or eating habits, extreme fatigue, and poor concentration. Depression can be long-lasting or recurrent, substantially impairing an individual's ability to function at work or school and negatively view oneself. The environmental and the future. Only limited studies on Filipino students have found that excessive sadness, a symptom of depression, is due to anxiety and stress that are related to academics and subjective factors. On the other hand, anxiety disorders are distinguished from a subjective state of intense and uncontrolled fear and anxiety. Physiologically, extreme causes of anxiety can cause someone to feel disconnected with oneself and even fearing insane. Additionally, anxiety disorders can also refer into a group of mental disorders such as generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, social anxiety disorder, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Stress is the typical reaction of a person's physical and mental aspect towards any change that requires an adjustment or response to perceived threats in a person's life. May it be literal or imagined, stress affects the psychological well-being of people. In turn, these effects can result in several stress reactions, such as the fight or flight response. In a conducted study amongst Filipino students, stress was positively associated with their everyday routine and significantly affected their mental state. Such routines that correlate with their stress response were ranked in the following orders: academics, amount of workload, and time. Time management, performance. Academic performance results from the measurements and outcomes of proper education. It is the point wherein an institution, principal, or even students has achieved their educational goals. May it be in the significance of learning presented through scales or the GWA. The academic achievement of the youth remains an important factor for the development of society. Students who do well in school are better able to transition into adulthood and achieve a better understanding of the practicalities of life, resulting in what may come off as occupational success that may contribute to the improvement of oneself and the community. Several tools can be used to measure a person's mental state in regards to the ranges of negative emotions. Some of these emotions include sadness, anger, and fear related to stress and depression and anxiety disorder. To assess and measure mental health, questionnaires and surveys such as the GHQ-28, BHQ-9, and the DAS-21. The researcher scaling method. Studies have recommended the reliability and viability of the DAS-21. DAS-21 is heavily relied on to produce the total scale scores and the correlation of mixed depression, anxiety, and stress amongst various respondents. Related studies. A recent study conducted on Rizal Technological University students in the Philippines proposed to identify the relationship between the anxiety levels of students and its effects on the general weighted average of the students. Anxiety was differentiated with the state and trait anxiety. State anxiety was then described as the perception of a person towards threatening situations, while trait anxiety was the interpretation and reaction of a person towards said situations. The results of the study showed that there was a negative correlation between anxiety levels of the students with their academic achievement. They were suggesting that students with higher general average experience lower manifestation of anxiety disorder and its symptoms and types. In a similar study, anxiety was seen to not be limited to students with learning disabilities, stating that all students at all levels may experience anxiety and concluded that to reduce anxiety. Teachers and parents need to be involved in helping students with their academics. Furthermore, another study identified the relation of anxiety, depression, and stress with higher secondary school students' academic achievement. The research subjects comprised 120 randomly selected students, divided into 60 boys and 60 girls, between several schools in a rural state in India. The results of the study found that between the three variables, depression and anxiety were shown to have a significant negative relationship with academic achievement. In contrast, stress was shown to have a significant positive relationship with academic achievement, concluding that the mental health of students affects their academic achievements. In a contrasting study, the opposite result was shown. The study aimed to conclude the relationship between depression and anxiety with the academic performance.
Materials and methods. Research design. The research design of a study is referred to as the structure, strategy, and arrangement on how data may be collected and analyzed to serve relevance to the research variables and purposes. It is most commonly defined as the blueprint of a study and will determine the answers to certain questions about the research topic and provides additional data such as what the study is about, what type of data is needed, what type of sampling method should be used, and etc. In this study, the researchers use a descriptive correlational research design, especially a quantitative research method. Quantitative research methods are use numbers and any measurable kind of data or information to be processed in systematic procedures, used in investigating variables and their relationships. Researchers mainly use the quantitative method to identify the variables used in research work and aid with the data collection. Study participants. The research participants were the senior high school students from the public and private schools in Bulacan, Philippines, enrolled for the school year of 2020 to 2021. The total number of respondents was 259. Study instrument. The study made usage of the shortened 21-question depression, anxiety, and stress scale by P.F. Lovibond and S.H. Lovibond to measure students' mental health. The questionnaire consists of a 21-question inventory designed to measure and identify the severity and presence of depression, anxiety, and stress. The number of points ranged from 0 to 3, corresponding to did not apply to me at all. For 0, applied to me to some degree or some of the time. For 1, applied to me to a considerable degree or a good part of the time. For 2, and applied to me very much or most of the time. For 3. Most recent studies suggest that the internal reliability of the instrument is P equals 0.94. Procedures. To obtain the necessary data of the study in determining the relationship of depression, anxiety, and stress with the academic performance of the participants, the researcher gathered information through an online survey utilizing Google Forms. With the participants' consent, they were subjected to the DAS-21 and provide their academic performance for the first rating of school year 2020 to 2021.
Result. This section of study deals with the gathered data from the research instrument following the research question. This is to compare the result and know the respondent level of depression, anxiety, and stress. The gathered data were analyzed using statistical techniques such as frequency count, percentage, and mean. 1.1 Levels of depression, anxiety, and stress. This set of data is intended to identify and describe the proportion of students utilizing severity level from the three separated domains: depression, anxiety, and stress of the DASS-21 questionnaire that was distributed to the respondents. To describe the respondents' level of severity, the researchers first determined the level with the use of the DASS-21 scaling procedure. The level of severity were then tallied with their appropriate ranges: normal, mid, moderate, severe, and extremely severe. Table 1. Based on the outcome of Table 1, it was recognized that most of senior high students had severe levels of depression, having 33.98% out of 100%. Succeeded with moderate level with 27.80%, followed by extremely severe with 20.46%, then 9.27%, with mild in the lowest with 8.49%. For normal, the student highest level of severity was severe, with indicated the major of all the students suffered from severe active symptoms such as extreme sadness and rejection of life. The outcome of table 2, it was recognized that most of the senior high students had extremely severe levels of anxiety, having 53.28% out of 100, followed by 29.34% of severe anxiety, then with 7.72%, which was moderate, 5.02% which had normal anxiety, and 4.63% with the lowest level for mild anxiety. The student's highest level of severity was extremely severe, which indicates that more than half of all the respondents experienced anxiety, which means that anxiety was present to more than half of the respondents and experienced from frequent sadness.
Based on the outcome of Table 7 over 3, it was visible that most of the senior high students had moderate signs of stress, having 40.93% out of 100%. Coming after this were severe signs of stress within 22.78%, followed by normal and mild signs of stress with 16.22%. The least was extremely severe signs of stress with 3.86%. Since the highest percentage level was moderate signs of stress, it suggests that the senior high students had moderate levels of stress, meaning that the respondents experienced non-excessive and controllable stress symptoms such as uncontrolled emotions, anger and impatience, and physical difficulties. The level of the academic performance of the students. This section provides the tabulation of the level of frequency of the academic performance of grade 11 and 12 students. The grades were arranged in the following range of outstanding 90 to 100, very satisfactory 85 to 89, satisfactory 80 to 84, fairly satisfactory 75 to 79, and did not meet the expectation 74 and below. Based on Table 4, it was seen that more than half of all grade 11 students' academic achievement was satisfactory with 51.11%. Succeeding, this was very satisfactory with 34.81%. It's then followed by fairly satisfactory with 10.37%. The indicator with the least amount of percentage was outstanding with 3.70%. Overall, the indicator of satisfactory had the leading level in the academic performance of grade 11 students, meaning that the students accomplished their academic tasks and comply with their requirements. Based on the results from Table 5, it was seen that more than half of all the grade 12 students' academic achievement was very satisfactory with 51.6%. This was succeeded by satisfactory with 39.89%. It was then followed by outstanding, the indicator with the least amount of percentage with 9.04%. Overall, the indicator of very satisfactory had the leading level in the academic performance of the grade 12 students, implying that more than half of the students often accomplish their academic requirements and perform well in school-related activities. As finalized in Table 6, it presented the results of the study from the correlation analysis. It revealed that there is no significant relationship between the factors of depression, anxiety, and stress on the academic performance of the students. This is because the linked variable had a probability greater than the 0.01 alpha level of significance, resulting in the null hypothesis being accepted.
The discussion of this research is the online international conference on multidisciplinary research and development. The study first raised the questions: what is the level of the emotional states of depression, anxiety, stress, and academic performance of the students? The researchers went to present the severity level of the three domains by using the scaling procedure of the DASS-21 and applying the statistical analysis of percentage and mean. The academic performance of the students was shown using the statistical presentation of rate and frequency. The highest corresponding levels of depression, anxiety, and stress were presented as the respondents had severe levels of depression, 32.84%, extremely severe level of anxiety, 54.85%, and moderate levels of stress, 39.5%. Students' academic performance was divided with the grade 11 students having satisfactory levels of academic performance and grade 12 having very satisfactory academic performance levels. Moreover, the results showed that though the levels range from the moderate to extremely severe, depression, anxiety, and stress had no significant relationship with academic performance. Similarly, studies using the DASS-21 also showed the same results while having the same and different age groups. The result only indicated that the domains depression, anxiety, and stress had strong correlations with each other, but not with academic performance. Iwamoto in June 2019, Vasugi and Norliza 2019. Studies also made use of the DASS-21 to correlate depression, anxiety, and stress with academic performance in different aspects. The findings showed that there was a significant relationship with the variables above. Hart 2019, though differentiated with the age group and the respondent location. There was a lack of information on Philippine or Southeast Asian adolescents as the target subject and the DASS-21 as the primary instrument. Overall, the presence of negative mental health disorders impacts the students' personal and social development, especially as they are near the end of their adolescent stage and closer to adulthood. With this information, the researchers imply that the students and the other related factors and individuals be more self-aware of oneself and others' mental health. Furthermore, the acknowledgement of the importance and steps toward good mental health presents crucial elements of the future and present the psychological growth of individuals.
The study investigates the relationship between depression, anxiety, and stress on students' academic performance. The result of the study based on the levels of severity imply the most of students are experiencing hopelessness, rejection of life, and the dysphoria concerning depression, subjective anxious effects, and situational anxiety are rampant in the everyday life of the student. Additionally, lack of emotional control and physical difficulty are signs of high levels of stress that are also common within students. Moreover, the following were the recommendation of the study. The school create a program such as individual and group Intervention by applying one-on-one interviews with a guidance counselor of the school and occasionally programs that promote and explain good mental health of both parents and students.